Have you ever looked into someone else's situation with envy and been disappointed with your own? At one point or another, we all have. And in today's episode, I want to help you with that. My name is Matthew, and I believe that you have a gift that is meant to be shared, but so often the thing that gets in the way is ourselves. It's not this external force, it's an internal one. We get in our own way, and sometimes we dwell too much on negativity. Something frustrating happens, and we just can't get over it, or we are filled with the lack of contentment and disappointment. We tailspin, out of control, immersed in a headspace that is detrimental to the life that you and I were created to live, and the light that you and I were created to shine. We look at someone else's situation and think, wow, that grass sure looks pretty good. But friend, I'm here to tell you the grass is not always greener, even if it appears that way. Today, I want to help you focus more on your journey and less on someone else's journey. I want you to hear this. You were made to live an abundant life, full of happiness and full of joy and full of blessing. You were not made to live every day trudging through negativity and disappointment and depression. I believe there is a calling on your life to make a difference in the lives around you. Maybe it's your parents. Maybe it's your spouse or your kids or a friend. There's a calling on your life to help and to serve others by using your gift and your unique expression of that gift. But we can't do that when we are constantly engaging in a battle with ourselves, in the form of defeating thoughts, in the form of insecurity, in the form of depression, in the form of disappointment, and in the form of resentment. So what do we do? How do we get out of that headspace? I believe the answer, or at least part of the answer, lies here in one simple word: contentment. We need more contentment. Contentment means this: it is an emotional state of satisfaction that can be seen as a mental state, maybe drawn from being at ease in one's situation, body, and mind. Colloquially speaking, contentment could be a state of having accepted one's situation. I talked a little bit about this in episode 1, accepting the reality of your situation. So if you haven't listened to that, maybe go ahead and go back and listen to that, because I really believe that there's value there for you if you haven't heard it. In episode 1, accepting the reality of your situation. It is hard for us to accept that things didn't turn out the way that we wanted them to. It's hard for us to accept things when they don't turn out the way we want them to. We don't make as much money as we wanted. We didn't get the house that we wanted or the apartment that we wanted. We didn't get the job that we wanted. The list goes on and on and on. A lot of us face disappointment and discontentment with our circumstances every day. When this state of perpetual discontent compounds over time, it can lead to a host of negativity that will wreck your life. It's going to wreck your quality of life. And God doesn't want that for you. God does not want you to live a life of discontentment and disappointment, and you're not called to that. You're called to be content. And He doesn't want you to live in that negativity. He doesn't want you to live in depression. He does not want you to be dissatisfied with your situation. He wants you to see the purpose in the big picture. Because, friend, God has a purpose for your life, and He has given you a gift that He wants you to share. He doesn't want you to live in those negative things. He wants you to live in hope for a bright future. He wants you to live in faith that He will provide for your needs. He wants you to have an abundant life of joy, of peace and kindness and contentment. And contentment is not giving up. Accepting the reality of your situation doesn't mean you're giving up. It just means you accept the way things are. You aren't going to let your circumstances send you into a negative tailspin anymore. And as you move forward, you will do so with purpose and intention to make the most of it. Here is a definition of contentment that I really like. Being fully satisfied with God's provision for your life. Let me say that again. Being fully satisfied with God's provision for your life. Let's be honest. Sometimes this is hard because God doesn't provide in the same way for all of his children. He just doesn't. That's just not the way that it works. We all have unique gifts. God provides differently for different people. Sure, some are similar, but our expressions of even the same gift will be different. Your circumstances are different than mine. Your opportunities are different than mine. The people you meet, your job, your location, your family, the list goes on. I could go on and on and on and on, etc. God's provision for different people is just that. It's different. Are you fully satisfied with God's provision for your life? Let me ask that again. Are you fully satisfied with God's provision for your life? And what if God provides less than I want? What if he doesn't give me everything that I wanted? What do we do when it feels like God's provision falls short? The Apostle Paul addressed this very thing in his letter to the Philippians. He said this, I have learned, Paul talking, Paul, have learned to be content whatever the circumstances. And then in verse 12, I know what it is to be in need, and I know what it is to have plenty. I've experienced both. I have learned the secret of being content in any situation, in every situation, whether well-fed or hungry, whether living in plenty or in want. The secret to contentment is this. I can do all things through Christ, who gives me strength. I can do all things through him, Christ Jesus, who gives me strength. And so, man, that's amazing. The secret is this. It's Christ. The secret is Christ. He is the one who gives strength. His presence is the difference. If he is with you, there's nothing you can't do. There's nothing you can't be content through. My question for you is this. Are you seeking the Lord? Are you seeking him? He is not hiding. He wants you to find him. He wants you to experience the peace and the strength of his presence. So check this out. If you are seeking the Lord, he will provide for all of your needs. He is a good shepherd who tends to his flock. He wants to provide for you. He wants to be good to you. He wants to bless you. If you're seeking him, he will provide for all your needs. Psalm 34:10 says this, those who seek the Lord lack no good thing. Do you know the shepherd? Are you seeking him? Because he certainly is seeking you. And when you enter into the reality of Jesus, wanting will cease, and all of your wanting will be met in him. Psalm 23, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. I want you to hear this. God has a unique plan and a unique purpose for your life, and it is good. He is working. He is leading even in the midst of the greatest storm. Even now in this moment, as you're listening to this, he is working out a good purpose for you. He has a plan for you. He is looking out for you, working for good. Seek him today. Enter into the reality of Jesus, and in him, you will lack no good thing. Action steps today are this. Number 1, the pathway to contentment is the presence of Christ. So examine your life. Are you seeking him? Ask yourself that question and examine and be honest. Are you seeking him? Number 2, write down one way you can seek him more intentionally. There's a lot of power in writing something down because it makes it very difficult to forget it. So write it down. Write down one way you can seek him more intentionally this week. And number 3, simply this, do it. If you want a better future, it starts today. If you want today to be better, started yesterday. Hey friend, thanks so much for listening. If this helped you or added value to you in any way, I would really appreciate it if you would let me know by leaving me a review on whatever podcasting platform you find yourself on. If you're on YouTube, leave a comment below, and check out Instagram at Music Leadership and TikTok at Share Your Gift for daily tips and advice and encouragement designed to help you take steps today to make tomorrow better.